Okay, so this is Wade McCluskey, who needs to be much more in the limelight because it's a decision he makes during the Battle of Midway that will completely affect the outcome of not only the Battle of Midway, but the entire Pacific Theater and most of World War II. He is a hero that more people need to know his name. To backtrack, the United States was pretty aware of the Japanese plans for the Battle of Midway, largely in part of Joe Rochefort encrypting some of the Japanese code. So the United States was pretty aware that at least Midway was going to be attacked. Wade McCluskey is on board the USS Enterprise. He is the lieutenant commander, and he is the commander of a plane squadron that is flying out in search of this Japanese fleet that is eventually going to attack Midway. McCluskey's group doesn't find the Japanese fleet at first, leaving McCluskey in kind of a dilemma. His group is running dangerously low on fuel, so he can go back to the Enterprise or just give one more kind of last-ditch effort. McCluskey's group sees the Arishi, which was a Japanese destroyer, sailing kind of by itself. The Arishi was left back dealing with the USS Nautilus, which was a submarine that the Japanese fleet didn't want to, be sailing around there. McCluskey makes the decision, instead of turning around, going and refueling, he's going to follow the path of the Arishi and see if he can't find this Japanese fleet. Well, McCluskey's decision proves to be spot on. They're going to find this Japanese fleet. From there, things get kind of confusing. McCluskey orders an attack, though apparently there was a lot of chatter on the radio, so the attack is very uncoordinated. Most of the planes will go after one of the Japanese aircraft carriers. I believe it's the Kaga. Nonetheless, Richard Best, who is supposedly one of the better pilots in the squadron, realizes that all of the planes are going after one aircraft carrier, so he actually pulls off and will sink the Akagi. So 2 out of these 4 Japanese aircraft carriers are sunk and part of Wade McCluskey's attack. The attack is so, again, confusing that some of the American bombers are actually almost running into each other. Nonetheless, they do sink 2 of the aircraft carriers, which at this point, the age of battleships is slowly dying. People don't realize it at the point. Aircraft carriers was the main goal. In fact, part of the reason that Japan wanted to attack Midway in the first place was to sink the American aircraft carriers. Before that even happens, McCluskey's group will sink 2 out of the 4 Japanese aircraft carriers, the Akagi and the Kaga. Now, McCluskey, when he arrives back on the Enterprise, his plane had 52 holes in it, bullet holes in it. McCluskey even gets shot in the shoulder. But we need to point out that his decision is paramount to these 2 aircraft carriers being sunk. Also at the Battle of Midway, there's a lot of heroes there. Dusty Cleese is another name that we need to bring up. Dusty Cleese had 2 confirmed hits on 2 of the carriers. That's humongous if you need an MVP of World War II. These 2 guys need to garner some votes. At the end of Midway, 4 of the Japanese aircraft carriers were sunk. It completely decimates Japan's navy. They're going to be on the defensive the rest of the war. Anyways, look him up. Hopefully you learned something. Love you all.